Hi all, Sarthak here. I've been getting a lot of questions on LinkedIn about various topics like what is a data scientist role, how do I get into data science, how was my experience with an online master's program. So I thought of starting this video series to share some of my thoughts. The topic for today is how did I get into data science, and I hope to share my journey and help address some of the most common questions for folks who are looking to transition into this field. But first, why is this a very common question for someone looking to get started into data science, right? Unlike most classic professions, data science for a long while now did not have any direct pathway from education or prior employment. There was no data science equivalent of becoming a doctor after going to med school or getting into consulting after an MBA school or getting into finance after doing a CFA charter holder, right? It was all homegrown from tangential professions like statisticians, engineers, and additionally, the field of applied data science has started to grow significantly, and employers have started looking out for folks who could implement existing solutions off the shelf rather than building something from the ground up. As such, there was no direct entry point into this field, and folks who are looking to get into data science into found a variety of ways, sometimes coincidence included, right, to get started into this field. What adds to the problem is most of the times employers are looking for folks with prior experience, and it is almost impossible to get a prior experience to get into the job, right? So it's almost like a catch 22 situation. What specifically happened in my case was that I graduated from a business management background, and almost on the very start of my career, day one, in fact, I got remapped into data science. So my entry point was more of a coincidence, but whatever happened from then on was kind of a deliberate move, right? On my first day of employment, I wasn't kind of very pleasantly surprised about the change because I wasn't aware of what this field is, what does it take to be successful, and so on and so forth, right? But as and when I get got posted into my first project, I started to get a hang of it, started to like it, and the company also kind of invested in me, right? I started going to conferences, did online hackathons, and all of those things. What I specifically love about this field is it's kind of very democratic in the sense that anyone who has genuine interest in the field could uh, use online resources, go to free conferences and stuff like that, and still build a very solid foundation and be employable, right? So, based on my 5 years of experience, here are my top five tips for anyone who's in the similar boat, who's trying to get started into data science or who's looking to transfer from tangential professions into data science, right? Please note that all advice is subjective to your personal situation. What's your prior experience? What are your interest areas? What's your expertise, etc., right? But in the end, what really matters is a blend of prior experience, some educational background, and a demonstrable portfolio of projects. And the projects could be either with your prior employers or on open source platforms like Kaggle or GitHub, right? While prior experience is hard to get, especially for someone just looking to get started, one could always find great starter roles, junior roles to get started early in their career to give you a great blend of projects to expand your skill sets, right? The kind of first job is always your learning ground to practice more, try more stuff, maybe fail more often so that you get a good understanding of the breadth of data science. Folks who have already started and want to make a switch could look for freelance opportunities or projects within your current roles that are much more data analysis and data science intensive to build a track record of practical experience, right? If you're, for example, in a HR role, you could take on things like forecasting, headcount planning, etc., to to flex your data science muscle. You could also look for full or part-time data science degrees. There are some that are totally online that enable you to be comfortably employed in your current role and still pivot into different full-time roles. Also, you could start building your portfolio on open source platforms like GitHub or Kaggle, or solve coding problems on LeetCode. Even if it does not help you get a job interview right off the bat, it will pay off greatly in coding interviews or on the job in case you end up getting one. Last but not the least, I'd recommend that everyone kind of thinks about building their own network. Team up with folks on Kaggle competitions, attend conferences online or in person. There is a good chance that even if you don't run into someone actively hiring for their team, you'll still learn a lot about the industry and be able to position yourself in ways that appear useful. Uh, in summary, as you would have realized, there is no straightforward, straightjacket solution or a series of steps to get started into data science, but I hope some of these steps will help either make the coincidence happen for you, or you to plan deliberately how to kind of get into data science, right? Uh, Let me know if this was helpful and what else you would like to hear more about. Thank you.